This decision was prepared, it was reviewed, it was revised. It reached the final step, a single desk, waiting for a single signature, and then no one signed it, it just sat there. By the end of this video, you'll see how history came within inches of changing its course forever. You'll understand not just what was in this momentous document, but more importantly, why the ink never touched the paper. Most major decisions that shape our world leave a clear trail, a signature, a date, a name. Think of declarations of war, peace treaties, landmark legislation. They are signed, sealed, and delivered into the history books. But some of the most profound decisions aren't the ones that were made, but the ones that stopped just short of the finish line. Not rejected, not vetoed, but simply left unfinished. This is the story of one of them. To understand why this document was even created, you have to picture the time. It was a period of immense pressure. Tensions were high, and the stakes were even higher. Information was scarce and often contradictory. Time was a luxury no one had. In the rooms where leaders gathered, their advisors were deeply divided. It was a classic split. One faction argued for immediate, decisive action. They believed that hesitation was the greatest risk. The other side urged caution and delay. They argued that acting on incomplete intelligence was a recipe for disaster. This incredible tension, this push and pull between action and restraint, was baked into the very language of the document. Every clause was a compromise, every sentence a battleground of ideas. It was a document born from crisis and uncertainty. So, what did this order actually say? It was a plan for a significant escalation. It authorized the movement of troops, the commitment of vast resources, and a series of actions that would have irreversible consequences. Once that signature was on the page, there was no quiet way to reverse course. The world would know, and the path would be set. Every single word was scrutinized, debated, and rewritten. The timing of its release was just as critical as its content. The order was designed to be a shockwave, a move so bold it would force the hand of adversaries and allies alike. It was a gamble on a massive scale, laid out in cold, official language, waiting for the final go-ahead. The document finally reached the last desk in the chain of command. The weight of the moment must have been incredible. The briefings continued right up to the final hours. New intelligence trickled in, but it only added to the ambiguity. Questions that had been asked for weeks still hung in the air, unanswered. The arguments for and against were rehashed one last time, and then nothing happened. The pen was never picked up. No official rejection was ever issued. The order simply sat there, its power untapped. As the hours turned into days, the strategic window it was designed for began to close. The moment passed, and the order, this powerful instrument of change, expired with time. It became a ghost of a decision. In the aftermath, events took a different turn. The crisis evolved, and new, alternative paths were pursued. Other, less dramatic decisions were made, which eventually led to a different kind of resolution. The world moved on, unaware of the cliff edge it had just skirted. It was only years later, when historians and researchers were digging through declassified archives, that they found it a draft of a world-altering order. Unsigned, unfiled, a silent testament to a road not taken. So, what was the final revelation? Why was this monumental decision avoided at the very last second? It wasn't because someone definitively proved it was the wrong choice. It wasn't because a better option suddenly appeared. It was avoided because the one thing the decision-maker needed most never arrived: certainty. In the face of ambiguity, with lives and the fate of nations on the line, the burden of acting without that certainty was just too great. And so, in the absence of a clear answer, the decision was to not decide. Restraint became the action. History often celebrates the bold. The leaders who made the tough calls, who signed the papers, who took the risks. It rarely notices the moments of restraint, the quiet power of choosing not to act. But restraint leaves its own mark on history, just a quieter one. It's the story of the conflicts that didn't happen, the escalations that were avoided. The consequences are just as real, but they are defined by their absence. Think about that. Sometimes, the most pivotal moments in history don't turn on what was done, but on what was never signed. The choices that were left on the table tell a story all their own. If you're interested in the fascinating decisions that history never finalized, the moments that almost were, then you'll love our channel. Unfiled History publishes one new story just like this every single day. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a piece of history that never quite happened. Thanks for watching.